Hi Pragya, welcome on YourPedia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Pragya, your interaction with me today is going to be very interesting because you are a graduate of NIT, that is in Himachal Pradesh, NIT Hamirpur, and then you went to IIT ISM Dhanbad, another prestigious institute in India, and now you are doing your PhD from Scandinavian nation, Norway, University of Oslo. So ये सारी journey is eventually going to be very very helpful for students back home. Why? Because there are so many graduates who after graduating from premium institutes in India, they look forward to have very good opportunities and career thereafter. Now, since you are there for the last couple of years now, I'm very sure you may be having a lot of data about this beautiful small country of Norway, and for that matter, Scandinavian nations. So I start with your background. Pragya, please tell us about your undergrad, which part of India you are from. First, you can tell that, and then your undergrad, that is, you have done from NIT Hamirpur. Your graduation, which year? How was the journey? And at what stage you decided that, okay, let's go abroad?
So, I I have done my bachelor's in civil engineering from National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur. I'm basically from Mandi, Himachal, so it was a bit near for me to do. And my batch was 2017-21. And then in my final year during my bachelor's, I decided that I would go for research. So I didn't went for any placements or anything. I went to IIT ISM Dhanbad in Jharkhand, did my earthquake science and engineering from Department of Applied Geophysics. And during my time in Dhanbad, I got a lot of guidance from a lot of faculty members there who did their PhD abroad, and it actually intrigued me to go abroad. And then after my master's, I was lucky enough with the guidance from YourPedia as well. I got the opportunity abroad. So yeah, now I'm here in Oslo, 2 years in doing my PhD in on glaciology.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Pragya, I'll ask you a couple of things here. You're a graduate of NIT, a reputed institute back home, and after that, there are different opportunities people explore. I would like to ask you, like, what is this area which you are pursuing? Geo physics. You said you are after BTech. Normally, civil engineers go into structures, environment, geotech, something. Why at the first place this course, and what are the opportunities in this course?
So usually, like civil engineering, we are taught a lot of subjects, right? Water resource, hydrology is something that we also study, and it's more or less related to the application of hydrology part in, for example, constructing dams and everything. I got really interested in water. I did my internship somewhere in which like I really had to use remote sensing to do some sort of hydrology, right? Then I thought like this is interesting. Maybe I can pursue it. During my master's, it was specifically about earthquakes, but I also got the opportunity to study a bit more hydrology. So I just changed my course completely into that direction, which is also possible that people don't know about usually. And now I'm doing something very specific in hydrology, but it's more or less about glaciers and melting of glaciers and yeah, using AI. So
Okay. So you attended your undergrad and grad in top premium institutes in India. You are well aware about the academic, environment, academic, all curriculum kind of things in these institutes. Now you are in Oslo, University of Oslo. How do you find PhD program is different in Norway from what we have in India?
Hmm. So usually what I've realized, the biggest difference that I feel, because I was also a PhD scholar for 6 months in India as well. I didn't do anything, but I do have some idea about the research culture from my colleagues there. It's more or less like the motivation level is very different in foreign countries than in India, because here it's like people opt to do PhD, so they think about what they want to do, if it's going to be good for them, and that's how the setup is, which is completely different in India because it's more or less like random. People don't usually know who they're gonna be with, and after they're like 1 or 2 year in, they realize, oh, their professor is not very supportive, and then they think like we don't know to who they should go, which is a bit different here. So
Mhm. Mm.
that's
Okay,
the
so
biggest difference.
yeah, Pragya, when normally when we say, in Europe or Scandinavian nations, PhD is not a higher educational course. It is not academic course. It is a job. It is a you're employee of the university. Is that true in your case also? And if yes, then what is the meaning of that? I mean, you're employee of university.
So being employee of university means that I will pay taxes to the state, which
Mm-hmm.
is one thing, but I get all the perks as a employee. For example, all the
Mm-hmm.
insurances I get as employee. I don't get student discounts. That could be a disadvantage, but yeah. But like also like if you are in Scandinavia, for example, if I talk about Norway, if someone wants to work here after or get their permanent residency, it's sort of mandatory to have at least 3 years that you are
Mm-hmm.
paying tax to the state. So
Okay.
after 3 years of your PhD, you can apply for residency here and work hereafter, which is something that a lot of people don't know.
So,
So
can you elaborate on this point? Like after 3 years of PhD, you can apply for permanent residency.
yeah, there are a lot more things for the permanent residency, but one of the conditions that they have for now is like you need to do a job and pay your taxes. So when you
Mhm.
move to Oslo, it's a temporary residency, but you come on work permit. So it's a work permit, which is very tricky to have, for example.
Okay. What is the duration of PhD in Norway?
Um, like usually, if someone does not want to teach, it's only 3 years. But
Hmm.
I was also into teaching, so I have extended my PhD for 1 extra year. So it's like 25% contract more, and I do certain hours of teaching, which would start next week. But yeah, and you can extend your PhD for an extra
So,
year.
what is the meaning of into teaching, Pragya? That means along with PhD, you are doing some teaching activities also.
Yeah, so like if I have to compare that to India, you're supposed to do TA-ship, right? It's
Yeah.
not mandatory here. Like if you
Okay.
want to do it, it will be extra and you need to apply
Oh,
for it.
so TA includes teaching, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And do we have RA also, research assistantship, something like that?
Yeah, some like I know some of my friends here who was employed for being
Mm-hmm.
as research assistants, but it's more or less like depends on professor if they have funds for it.
Mm. Okay, Pragya, now the students who are listening to us, the first question is, can I join this kind of university? I mean, what credentials are required? If you can throw some light on what typical credentials are required, where a student can think of, okay, I'll join these universities because I have these credentials.
So if I talk about Norway particularly, all the PhD positions are advertised. It is sort of by law that they have to advertise all the positions, but they are looking for. It's usually not that bad. It doesn't matter what background you come from. Like my background, for example, is civil engineering, and I'm doing something very different from what I have studied in my bachelor's. It's more or less like during the application process, we just need to convince whosoever is selecting us that we are really interested in the topic and we are ready
Right.
to put in our effort.
Mm-hmm.
This is something very important. And the other part is like you don't need really high scores to get into. You need decent score. For
Okay.
example, minimum of B, which is a bit different in India. Like I think it's about 8 pointer or something. If you have
Mhm.
above 8 pointers in thesis and during your masters, it's usually sufficient. It's more or less like how motivated are you for the PhD? That's what people look for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A requirement of IELTS or these kind of exams?
Uh, these are, yes, mandatory because we come from a country where English is not our first language.
Mm.
Um, but we can also obviously ask HR that if we can be exempted or not, because we
Okay.
do have our education in English. But usually it is recommended because I did had my TOEFL when I
Mm.
applied for. So
Mm,
yeah.
okay. Pragya, after doing detailed analysis of Indian university system and the problems which PhD students are facing right now, I have zeroed in on three main points. One is duration of PhD, which is uncertain sometime. My own students sometime in IC they spend more than 7 years. IIT Kanpur, IIT, these old IIT, sometime more than 6 years. Second point is scholarship, which is very less than 40K, less than $500. Third is, post PhD opportunities. Now, can you throw some light on these 3 points, like PhD duration you have already mentioned? Now, scholarship and post PhD opportunities. On these two, please tell something about these two.
So, um, Norway or Scandinavia in general is a bit expensive on the higher end and everything, right? Um, but with my salary, because there are certain criteria in Norway that if you are going to hire someone, you need to pay them at least this amount. And I think recently Norway has increased this amount to 600,000 Norwegian kroner, which is like if we multiply by 8.5, it's about 50-ish lakh INR, something. So it's something that they have to pay minimum for them to bring you to Norway. So like even though I am a PhD scholar, I am living very comfortably here. Like I can pay my rent and I can have my groceries, I can have my phone bill and everything. I am still living very comfortably here. So this is a bit different from India. Like I was a
How much?
PMRF scholar in India,
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah,
Mm.
so I got the lucky in that. But PMRF is also very rare opportunity to be like if you are a PMRF, still like you have a lot of pressure because you need to deliver a lot of things. Uh,
Mm.
Being a normal PhD in India, it becomes expensive because it's
Okay,
like
so you were PMRF in IIT ISM Dhanbad itself, or some another institute?
no, no, IIT, ISM Dhanbad.
Okay. Mm. So in PMRF also you get 60, 70,000 per month, right?
I got 75 because it's for
Okay.
like first year, it's 75,000, then it becomes 80,000. It used to be like that. I am not sure what's the status now because I
Okay. So
think
so you were rich man at back home also.
uh, I
And
I don't
Pragya,
know.
now how much you are saving per month there? If I can ask you and if you can answer that. Because that is what the
Um,
students are interested in.
I haven't actually calculated that in INR because, but like 50% of my salary I usually save because I don't go out a lot often. So that is one thing as
Okay,
well.
what do you have to tell in Indian currency? How much is that 50%?
I need to calculate it, but it would be at
Any roughly?
least or a bit more than 1 lakh.
Okay. So why I'm asking this question? Because today I was interacting with one of my students. He's working in some company and he's getting good. And he says, I need to send back home money. I said, how much you want to send home money? Because maybe they are dependent upon him. So he's interested to pursue PhD, but at the same time, he also has this obligation.
Mhm.
So I told him that certainly there are PhD opportunities where you can save more than 70K per month. And said, so that will serve my purpose because that is what I'm sending right now. So 70K per month, certainly you can save. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so like in hand, I would be getting about more than 30,000 kroners and paying rent and everything. I paid for like 11,000. So else is saving.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm.
like I also go out sometime, not a lot. Like if I am living like really good life in a way, like going out every weekend and stuff, I'm still saving 50%.
Okay. Pragya, please tell us something about the University of Oslo in Norway.
So University of Oslo is the oldest university here in Norway that I know of. And it's a very big university as well. Um, it's like it has a lot of departments. My department comes under the Faculty of Natural Science and Mathematics, but there are certainly other departments as well, and like humanities, social sciences, and everything. Usually, people who come here from engineering background, they go to NTNU, which is a bit north in Norway. But like mine is more or less like science based, so physics, mathematics, and stuff. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. And as you're saying, you're staying somewhere. So is it in the in the campus or it is outside the campus?
When I moved to Norway, I like University of Oslo had this agreement with the student housing here that because you are an employee, so they give you a residence for like a year. it takes some time for everything to get settled here, like getting a bank ID and your bank account running. So for that duration, they will allot a apartment, which is a really nice apartment. And then after, I have to look into my market, but still, like my apartment right now is like 9 minutes by cycling to my college, so
Okay.
it's not that bad. Mm.
Okay. And Pragya, typical life of a PhD scholar in this University of Oslo in the labs and all.
So work-life balance is a priority here. Like you're not supposed to work after 6. Like you can obviously work, but it's not like, oh, you need to be here, you need to be working and stuff like that. Like my professor is very much like into work-life balance. She always, when I moved to Norway, she was like, oh, you should go out as well. You don't have to sit in lab. You can work from everywhere. And yeah, so work-life balance is the biggest priority here.
Mhm.
And that comes like other hobbies, like, oh, I would like to go to gym, then I can go to
Mm.
gym. There is a athletica or gym very nearby, so it's also allowed. Even it is included in my contract that I can go to gym, and it I will be paid during that duration as well.
Okay. So typically in Indian universities, when I go even on the weekends, I find research scholars logging there in the labs. What is the situation in Norway?
Like if someone wants to work in lab, they're obviously not like stopped or like, oh, you cannot work or anything. Usually, how people do that is like, oh, they can take a day off during the week if they don't have any meeting and then compensate it over weekend. But it's like no one is checking on them. There is no attendance system here. Like, oh, you're
Mm.
supposed to be here at 10 and leave at 10 or
Mm.
something. It's just
Mm.
like you're honest to your work. And
Mm.
that's how
Okay.
it is.
So Pragya, this research area which you are pursuing right now, tell us something about this area for civil engineers.
Um, Interestingly, it's a bit different from civil engineering, but like in long term, it might be relevant. So I am working on using machine learning to
Mhm.
simulate glacier evolution in a way.
Mm.
How our glaciers are going to evolve in next 100 years or 200 years, and experiments like that. So my PhD is more or less about how machine learning can be useful in this domain.
Mhm.
Um, like usually we do have a lot of modeling happening in this
Mm.
field, but
Mm.
machine learning is a bit novel. So my
Okay.
work is around that. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. And now, opportunities after PhD. After completion of PhD, what are the opportunities you can explore and you're planning to explore?
So certainly I am looking forward to do a postdoc.
Hmm.
Um, Postdoc is like whenever PhD is done, you work under a professor, but it's not like you're obliged to submit a thesis. It's
Mm.
not studies anymore, right?
Mm.
Uh, So this is one domain that I am exploring, and the other thing is job opportunities.
Mm.
Um, I haven't really figured out yet where I would like to work. Do I want to go back to India and work there, or maybe? But like, there's something in my mind that I really want to work here, get experience here, and then maybe move back. That is
Okay.
something that I'm looking forward to. And also
Mm.
because my work is in artificial intelligence, I do have of this opportunity or experience in data science field that I can explore further.
Mm. Okay. So all the options are there, right?
Yeah, yeah, there are
Mm. Okay.
multiple options to explore.
Yeah. So Pragya, Norway is a very small but beautiful country. So I want you to tell us something about the universities. Though you have mentioned two university, NTNU and University of Oslo. Please tell us more about the kind of university systems Norway has.
So
How many
Norway has,
universities Indian students can target?
I mean, there are plenty of universities, but I would say like big universities, for example, University of Oslo. There is a university in Stavanger, which is the west coast of Norway, and Tromsø have NTNU. These are like big names, but also
Mm.
someone coming from biology or like a background like that, they can also target NMBU. And
Mm.
there are so many universities with different backgrounds. Uh, I think there is one more university in Oslo which is more or less related to architecture, and
Mhm.
Yeah, so I am forgetting names because I haven't really looked that much into universities. But these are the
Mhm.
universities
Okay.
in which like we do have some context, so I know about them.
There are so many students, Pragya, I have from southern part of India who are very sensitive for harsh weather, especially winters. So, how chilled is Norway, and is it a comfortable place for southern students of India?
Well, the perception of temperature and climate is always subjective, right?
Mm,
But honestly, because I have lived my like I'm from Mandi, but I have lived my entire life in Shimla, so I do know how snow looks and how cold it can be.
mm,
But interesting fact, when I moved to Oslo, it was the coldest year, which went up to minus 20 degrees.
mm,
And it was very cold, yeah, for sure. But here people do know how to tackle. It's
mm,
like I can be in my normal clothes inside
mm,
apartments because they are
mm,
built in that sense. So
mm,
it's not like you have to wear a lot of sweaters or something like that. It's just like
mm,
whenever you're outside, you need to
mm,
be like layered
mm,
up properly.
mm,
And a lot of people go for skiing here as well to beat the winter depression and stuff like that. So I
mm,
mean, it's manageable. It's not
mm.
that difficult
Okay.
because people do live
Mm,
here.
Okay. So my last question to you is, Pragya, why students should go to Norway for higher education, especially PhD?
Um, I would say not only Norway, but in general foreign countries because the research environment is totally different. They think their research and their job as like they want to do it. It's not that someone is hammering
Forcing.
or forcing
Mm,
you to do. It's like
mm,
because like whenever you talk to someone who's genuinely interested in research, you become more motivated to finish your research. And this is something experience that I was lacking in India, even though I was
mm,
doing my research in like really good university. My
mm,
interaction here so far has been really positive because people are
mm,
curious about my work. They will be
mm,
asking, oh, why do you did this and that? And then you get more ideas. It becomes much more manageable to
mm,
do
mm,
your project here just
mm,
because people are very curious, which is a bit like a huge difference from India.
Okay. So, what typically a professor is looking for in his prospective PhD students, Pragya?
So interaction with some of the professors here. Uh, It's more or less like how motivated are you to pursue your PhD and how relevant your background would be.
Mm,
I have done like my master's. My thesis was based on like deep learning applications in groundwater. So deep learning was something my professor was looking, and she
mm,
was expert in glaciology. So
mm,
it worked out, and
mm,
she was like, "Oh, you know this, and I know this. We can work out together." So
mm,
even though my field was completely different and I
mm,
had no idea about glaciers before, they
mm,
made sure that I will learn it properly. So, what they are looking for is genuine interest in their research, which is
mm,
something that I have got some complaints that Indian emails or
mm,
students that email professor, they
mm,
just don't show their interest to professor's profile. They don't look at their profile. They just like, dear sir, I did this and did and this. They don't like cold emailing, which is
mm,
a bit not appreciated here. I have heard a lot of like criticism here, which I really wanted to point out. Like cold email is not appreciated here, which
mm,
is something
mm,
different. Yeah.
mm. There's the reason no we talk about warm mailing now. So there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that works. Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
Pragya, so I think I have asked all my points which I want to discuss with you. Anything which I missed, you want to add to that?
I think we have covered
More or
mostly
less everything,
everything.
right? Mm.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so yeah.
yeah, thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
really
so
nice.
Pragya, it was wonderful, and let me thank you for your time, and I wish you all the very best for your journey. You are in the middle of your journey, wonderful journey there, and we wish you all the very best for PhD and after PhD. Thank you.
Thank you so much.